Hello YouTube, this is Insane Monster, and this is it's part 8 of What If Asta Was the Son of Igneal. Now, I took some time off after the Halloween special, given I gave you guys 13 what ifs, so I am glad that you guys did enjoy the Halloween special and such. As for this month, uh, I'm thinking uploading three different videos, one of which that are going to be the winner of the What If Lotto, and some other vids that are going to be used for the, let's call it Thanksgiving special. And no, none of them will be be Thanksgiving themed or anything like that. So sorry if you were expecting that. But with all that said, hit it. Alright, now when we last left off, Asta got his arms healed. He now has Natsu tagging along with him and taking care of him in the Black Bull's hideout. Leona pretty much broke down almost destroyed the hideout and the surrounding areas, chasing down Yami for answers. So, yeah. So, as some days pass, Asta noticed that there was black markings showing up on his right arm, until eventually it formed a dragon pattern. This was obviously the mark of the Dragon King, though it wasn't incomplete. Well, yeah, it was incomplete and such, as Magna mentioned, asking, "The hell's on your arm?" Asta looked at it, stating, "Not sure. Probably has something to do with what happened in the witch's forest." With Magnus saying, "Oh yeah, General told me you went full dragon. So, does that mean that I could have a ride?" With Asta looking at him like, I am not letting you ride on my back." With Natsu saying, "Can I have a ride?" And Asta telling Natsu, "I'm okay with you." And Magna yelling, "Oh, come on!" Though the black markings on his right arm for the incomplete Dragon King mark weren't the only things that were appearing. Crimson red marks or lines started to appear on his body as well, though they weren't really that large. And he's not sure what these exactly are. As for you who may be curious about what these would be considered to resemble, remember the markings we saw Agnologia have in his human form? Think of it as an incomplete version of those. So yeah, we get to the point where it's the Star Festival and the Black Bulls go over there, with Asta hanging with Noelle and Natsu riding on Asta's shoulders. As they do run into the twins, Konoha and dang it, I forget the brother's name, but okay. As Konoha takes a look at Natsu, thinking, "Pink hair, huh?" As she looks at Asta with red hair and Noelle with silver, although you could call it white hair in some cases. She's like, "Noelle, you didn't." With her thinking for a moment, and then realizing the implication when she saw Konoha staring at Natsu and yells, "No, of course not. We last time we saw you was it was like a month or so ago. He's like 5." Which Konoha then said, "Oh, yeah, that's right." And Asa chimed in stating, "Yeah, turns out I had a little brother. This is Natsu." With Natsu saying, "Hey," and being introduced to Konoha and her brother, who is basically going starry-eyed at Noelle, thinking to himself that he gets to see the sea goddess. If you remember, they didn't get hurt like in canon, so didn't need to get the whole healing thing from the Witch Queen, and at least in this what if. So they go around. Konoha uh, gets the double date thing going. You try to force Noelle into actually doing something, though she's kind of just, you know, just Noelle. As they go around, and basically things do happen pretty similar to in canon, even with Vanessa and Charlotte doing the little contest. And Asta even gets roped in to helping Yami sell his grilled squid alongside Captain Jack's shaved ice. And Natsu gets in on this too, but on the condition that he gets some squid for himself. Yami doesn't have any complaints as long as he brings in customers. Of course, this does lead to the eventual argument between Yami and Captain Jack, as they state that they need to settle this. Obviously, going into the same area as before to do their little fight. As they begin the fight, Yami shows off blaring his wings, and with Jack saying, "Ah, you're just getting more interesting, haven't you? Makes it even more fun to cut you up." Yeah, Jack might have some issues. Though, like in canon, before they can use their dimensional slashes, we see the Wizard King stop everybody, freezing them, then cutting Yami and Jack's belts, causing their pants to fall down once they are released from the time freeze. So, yeah, as we continue with them going back to the Star Festival, where they exchange their wares with the shaved ice and the squid, remarking that it's actually pretty good. Asta smirks, reaching into the spatial magic bag he's been having for a while that holds a bunch of books and stuff. As we see Mimosa and Klaus show up with Yuno. They do catch up a little bit as Asta asks while his hand's still in the bag, stating, "Oh, yeah, how's the study been going with that book I gave you?" As we do a little flashback to a short moment of Asta handing over a book of sky dragon magic to Yuno to learn a bit more about the enchantment and healing abilities. With Yuno stating, "Hmm, it's going pretty good. In fact, I think I have enough to really beat you outright." Because Yuno's just being kind of cocky and showing that he's not gonna back down against Asta, but Asta is more than pleased to have this kind of challenge. Because remember, he was raised by Mary Leona in this one. So, yeah. As he takes his hand out of the spatial magic bag finally, saying, "Ah, hey, Captain Jack," as he tosses over a stone to him, catching it, and Yami looks and realizes what he just tossed to him, saying, "The hell are you thinking giving him one of those?" With Jack just wondering, what the hell did I just get handed? And it's the smirking thing. Well, he may be, well, he doesn't seem like that bad of a guy. I mean, you and him almost literally went off and killed one another, and yet you're sitting next to one another, exchanging food and talking normally. So I have to feel that he's not really a bad guy. Just kind of odd. With Jack saying, "Hey, the hell you say?" As he then demands to know what did he just toss him, with Asta explaining that that's a blade dragon lacrima, and giving a bit of a short detailed explanation of it, with Jack smirking saying, "So, this could help me cut up all kinds of things, right?" With Asta's instantly regretting giving this to this man, but it's a bit late, as he nervously laughs, with Yami stating, "You regret your choice now?" As Asta looks at Yami, stating, "Oh, please. When you eventually turn, you do realize that if he's not around, I'm pretty sure you'll get bored without somebody to pick fights with." With Yami actually laughing, stating, that's probably right. Sounds like me at least." And we just see Natsu eating all of Yami's squids. Whenever Yami realizes this, he just goes, "You little," as Asa grabs Natsu and Bolt. So, yeah. Once we get to the portion where they announce everything for the star that all the squads gathered, of course, it is basically the same lineup. After all, even though Asta has a lot more power in this one, he did have to work with the fact that the Black Bulls were in the negatives, like high negatives. Eh, so it's still the same lineup as we see Yuno coming up on stage, being revealed as the top star earner for the Golden Dawn, as we also see Asta popping up, handing uh to Yami as he goes up as the top star earner for the Black Bulls, who are in second place. So as they introduce him, as they take a look at the paper of his full name, announcing him as Asta Vermilion Dragmule. This does confuse some of the royals and nobles, wondering what the Dragmule part was, but then some of them realized the other rumors they heard about this kid who apparently is Merliona's son, that he's actually half dragon. Perhaps the Dragmule part is the father's last name. No, but Seke doesn't really shout anything out about questioning this, since he doesn't want to get in trouble with somebody with ties with royalty and such. So there's that. As others are questioning the Black Bulls and such on how they could get so many stars without cheating, but then all the people that they've helped start speaking up, telling them what they did to help them out and help save them. So this goes without much trouble, as Yuno and Asta walk together, with Natsu sitting on Asta's shoulders, they begin to talk until they see Merliona yelling at the Crimson Lions for being so slack ever since, well, what happened to Fregolion. As Asta knows that he needs to back away slowly from this mess. Unfortunately, he gets grabbed by Merliona, with her stating, "You really didn't think I would notice your mana?" And Asta thinking, "I help," as he lifted up towards Merliona, and she states, "Hmm, not bad. Although you didn't get first place, if you think about it, if the Black Bulls weren't already in the red when you got there, then you probably would have won by a landslide. If we're considering the stars that they had in canon, then if I'm not mistaken, they were like 70 or so in the red in the negatives or something. If I'm wrong, just whatever. But Asta smirks as Marileona looks at Natsu bending down to take a look at him. He smirks, stating, "His mana does have a similar feel to yours. So, does he?" Asta smirks, saying, "Yeah," as Natsu's just had enough and eats Marileona's flames that she's using to hold up Asta. He laughs and everything as he states that they're going training to the hot springs, grabs Asta and Natsu, telling them that they're coming. And while Yuno tries to sneak away, he gets snagged as well. So, yeah, everybody else gets dragged along. Same as in canon, we get Yami dragged, Charlotte dragged, and all that over with the Crimson Lions as we hear Leopold telling Asta, "Payback for leaving us in the capital after the mess that happened on the first attack." Yeah, basically, he's still kind of bitter about Asta leaving them alone with his mom after what happened to Feligoleon when the Eye of the Midnight Sun attacked. He's a bit salty about that. So, as for if you're wondering what happened with the king, I don't really pay attention to that guy, but things went a bit smoother here, mostly because the king already knew that Oslo was raised by Leona, and she's not the person to go with etiquette. But he's also not crazy enough to really go against her, since he is sure that he might get killed, king or not. Yeah, you don't mess with her. So they do go on the trip, though they end up using their wings. Apparently, Leona, over the time, has trained quite a lot and has gained the use of both of her wings. And Noelle is having some trouble flying straight with only one wing. She already has trouble controlling her mana. I would imagine that controlling flight with a single wing would prove challenging for her. As when they get to the strong magic region for training, finally Leona gives them the whole details about this place and their goal. As she actually takes Natsu, stating, "I'm gonna take this one since he's not old enough to go through this like you guys are." So, yeah, as Before she leaves, he then waits and states that Asta will have to wait a little bit before going, considering he isn't affected by the intense heat like everybody else. This is just an ability of somebody who's half fire dragon. I would imagine a volcanic region would be more like a relaxing area for them more than anything. So there's that. As everybody goes, they see Captain Yami and Captain Charlotte using their mana skin to protect them. With, also learning this trick and Noelle having trouble holding it together. So, yeah, once time was up, Asta got the idea to try out that new form he got. Not the full dragon form, but the halfway form using the Black Asta mode, creating the Black Blade mode. Well, Black Blaze Asta mode, which is basically Asta in his halfway transformation from, Elven Dragon, but with the scales and wings pitch black from the from the anti-magic sword and such. As he figures this out, it's then very apparent that he has trouble uh, going along, trying to control himself, considering it's being drawn towards the strongest magic source. He still kills the lava monster and goes straight for Mary Leona. Though before he gets right to her, he drops the black mode as he gets ready for a punch as well, stating Sun Dragon Secret Art Supernova as this really insanely bright light just shines on her fist. She finishes the title with Impact. So yeah, Supernova Impact. As Asta flares his flames, charging them up as powerful as he can get. Which, in this instance, with his current abilities, has it in this coloration of blood crimson flames. This ends up leading to the whole thing with them flying and attacking one another, one after another, getting hit back and forth. With Natsu looking at this in awe, thinking that that is so cool. So, yeah. Though it ends up being a draw because neither of them are going to let up. They're far too stubborn to give up on this. So Charlotte and Yami had to convince them to stop, considering that they are actually starting to cause some shock waves that might cause the whole mountain to erupt underneath them. So they decided to put their match on hold as he shows off the hot springs and everything. So as they go over there, he has a chat with Asta, asking about that dragon form of his. He states that, yeah, well, the Witch Queen said she couldn't unlock the seal completely, so I guess it's incomplete of what I should look like as a dragon, though it's still pretty cool. As he smirks, saying, well, I would assume so. As for the rest of this, it goes pretty much as in canon, where we have Yami messing with the guys, telling them to go over the wall to peek so that they can get potentially murdered. And uh, we see Mary Leona telling Noelle about her mom. though also given her new dragon abilities, has noticed something instinct, stating, if you want him, you're gonna have to fight. Sir, there's plenty of competition, with Noelle freaking out, not stating that she doesn't know what she means, and outright panicking. As for on the guy's side, Asta and get talking, as he asked how his training's going for using the dragon power. As shows off, smirking, popping out a single dragon wing and some scales, though remarks that it's annoying that he can't ride a broom anymore or ride in anything that either isn't somebody's spell or a living creature. With us the nervously laughing, stating, "Yeah, that's kind of a side effect. Sorry about that." With Natu just swimming in the hot springs, having a blast because he's a kid. So yeah. After which we get back to the Black Bull's hideout, where Asta actually sent some invites to the hideout to do some training leading up to the day of the exam. This did still happen, but just the king was a bit more timid about it because he didn't really want to do anything, considering he almost let it slip about executing Asta, and and Meliana glaring at him. Sorry, I haven't talked about the king and him and what he declared. I really just don't like that guy. As all of the knights that ended up with dragon powers, well, except for the newly recent Captain Jack and Mary Leona and such, so mostly just Mimosa, and Klaus. Once they showed up there for training, asking what was going on, Asta explained some things about the dragon powers and how they could be used. So, the training began with some very interesting results that plenty of them were actually quite happy about, including the fact that it did give them a new state of power. Though not all of them were able to achieve it, either they were too nervous to go through with it, or or just, they just couldn't do it, at least at present. And since the training went so well, during the last couple of days, they just rested up, waiting for the exam to take place. Now then, with that all said, thank you. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell and set it to all so that you're properly updated. And I'll see you later. Bye.